A proposal for a pet registry in Colorado had some serious backlash on social media. Many saw it as a tax on pet owners. But tonight, that bill's sponsor is getting death threats.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. I am not a big government guy. In fact, I hate big government. I hate the intrusion of it all. But there are at least two truisms that I've learned in observing big government and just being a political observer in general. One is government loves your money. They love it so much so that they want your money to become their money because they know better how to spend it. The second thing is they love controlling your life. Big government wants control over just about every aspect of your everyday life. We've seen it with regulations requiring you to buy health insurance. We've seen it with regulations requiring you to buy an electric car soon. You know that's coming in certain states. Maybe the most absurd proposition of all happened in Colorado this week, where a legislator proposed a pet tax. Yes, charging fees for you to own your beloved fur babies. We're going to get into all of this, but before we do, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. And if you like what you see and hear in this or any other video, smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all that feeds the YouTube algorithm.
Feed me, Seymour.
Thank you guys so much for all you do in getting the word out about the channel. You're doing a great job of it. And for all you newbies out there, you picked a pretty good video to show up for. I hope this earns your subscription today as we talk about proposed legislation that has since been pulled back by a Colorado legislator that was seeking to create a brand new bureaucracy where you would have to pay an annual fee just to own a pet. It's the great goldfish tax of 2024. And let's talk about it right now. I know what you're thinking right now. Gene's exaggerating about the whole goldfish thing. As you're going to see later, I'm serious about that. Imagine having to pay money every year just to own your pet. The privilege of owning your fur baby or that little thing in the fishbowl. Could you imagine that? That's what this legislator wanted to do. And the response and the backlash from people in Colorado was crazy, to the point where the legislator, Regina English, was receiving death threats. Oops, I should have added one of my famous disclaimers here just to cover my ass. Death threats are not cool, guys, okay? I don't condone it. I don't like it. They shouldn't be done in our society. So please, if you learn anything from this situation, don't be a buffoon and do that, please. Okay, now we got that out of the way, back to the video.
A proposal for a pet registry in Colorado had some serious backlash on social media. Many saw it as a tax on pet owners. But tonight, that bill's sponsor is getting death threats and says now the bill is dead. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon spoke with her about the intention behind that bill.
You thought I was joking? I'm not. I'm dead serious about all this. Imagine receiving death threats because you're proposing a fee, a tax, whatever it is, on people owning their fur babies. I own a dog. I love my dog. She's part of the family. Her name is Lady. She's a beautiful muddigree. I love her to death. She's taking over the house. She takes over every couch, every chair. She's the absolute cutest and the best. I'm sure you think that way about your pets as well.
Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl.
I couldn't imagine government trying to interfere with that pet owner relationship by making me pay money for the privilege of housing my own pet. It's completely ridiculous, but listen, these days with big government, nothing is out of bounds.
Sassy is all about sassy.
And Janet Stevens is all about her dogs.
I've always had Welsh Terriers.
She's against an idea from Colorado's legislature to create a pet animal registration.
We consider it a tax on all pets.
House Bill 1163, which was introduced last week, would require a pet owner pay $8.50 annually as long as the pet has a designated caregiver. If the pet did not, then it would cost $25 a year.
I can't believe this is real life. What a timeline we live in right now, right? Imagine having to pay $25 because you haven't designated a caregiver for your pet with some registry with the government. It's straight out of 1984, isn't it? This is where we live now. This is what we have to put up with government.
Would increase the amount of dogs and cats and other pets in our shelters.
Stevens says there is one redeeming quality of the bill.
The good idea here is to designate a caregiver for your pet.
That's what the sponsor, Representative Regina English, says was her intention.
Quite frankly, it just put the people of Colorado in an uproar.
She says the bill was based off this pilot study, and she wanted it to create a safety net for senior citizens to have a place for their pets to go if something happened to them.
Then why put a fee into it? If you just wanted to create like a registry, God forbid something happened to somebody about what to do with their pet, who would take it on and whatnot, you can just create that law without creating a database and without creating a registration act and without creating a fee. You don't have to charge for that. My goodness, it really is true. Government has not found a tax or a fee it didn't like.
She also says the registration system would come with a sticker, and certain colors would signal to first responders if there was an aggressive pet inside of a home.
I never would intentionally run a piece of legislation that's going to overburden, overtax, and put the people of Colorado in financial distress.
She says the money raised would have supported shelters and first responders.
Didn't know that it was going to get all the backlash and, people wishing death on me and wish I died with the bill is quite alarming.
Representative English doesn't like the bill in its current state, but wanted to introduce it and amend it. Now, that's all changed.
Postponed indefinitely, solely off a decision I made, not because people forced me to make that decision.
Instead, she hopes to bring a completely different bill back next year with her original goals leading the way.
So it's dead for now, the bill, but stay tuned for next year when there's not so much attention being paid to politics. It's going to be an off year. No one's going to know what's going on. They're going to slip it right in there. And of course, this legislator, Regina English, she wasn't influenced by the backlash or the uproar. It's not like the popularity of her work isn't reviewed every couple of years in an election, right? So that has nothing to do with it at all.
No, it's totally unrelated.
So even though this bill is dead for this year, it will be coming back next year. I think it would be helpful for all of us to examine this bill for the absurdity of the things big government likes to control. Once you get looking at the language of all this, it should really infuriate you that this is what government is trying to do to control your money and control your lives. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So here it is, right on the Colorado General Assembly website, Bill 1163, the Pet Animal Registration System, concerning the registration of pet animals. Seems kind of redundant, but let's go through the bill summary to see exactly what this says. The bill requires the Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture to develop, implement, and maintain an online pet animal registration system. The bill establishes the Pet Animal Registration Enterprise in the Department of Agriculture to provide business services to pet animal owners who pay pet registration fees to the enterprise by developing, implementing, maintaining, and administering the pet animal registration system, connecting pet animals with their owners and designated caregivers when and after emergencies occur, and protecting pet animals by supporting animal shelters that are caretakers of last resort.
A lot of fucking words for nothing.
The pet animal owner must register the pet animal in the system annually for a fee set by the enterprise, which must be no more than $8.50 annually per pet animal, with a designated caregiver, $16 annually for a pet animal that is a dog or a cat that is not neutered or spayed, $25 annually per pet animal without a designated caregiver. And as you go through the summary as well, if you don't register your pet animal, and we're going to get to that definition in a second, you can be fined no more than $100.
Gotta love bureaucracy.
Government loves your money, and they love it so much that they want it to be their money all the time. Now, you see in the summary, there is this discussion of what is a pet animal. I don't know exactly what they're referring to, but let's see in the text of the legislation. It's defined right there in the definition section. A pet animal means a dog, cat, rabbit, guinea pig, hamster, mouse, rat, gerbil, ferret, bird, fish, reptile, amphibian, invertebrate, or any other species of wild or domestic or hybrid animals 6 months of age or older that is sold, transferred, or retained for the purpose of being kept as a household pet. And luckily for you farmers out there, it doesn't include livestock.
Goddamn conniving, duplicitous, crooked, cocksucking politician.
Goldfish, I told you, it's there on the list. You see fish right there in black and white, but you see other animals, invertebrates, amphibians. I wonder if an ant farm would count as a pet animal under this proposed legislation. But one thing that is for sure, this could get costly for different pet owners. Think about a big fish tank. When you have lots of little fish in there that could be 6 months or older, or whatever the case may be. Could you imagine having to pay $8.50 per fish and assigning a caregiver for your fish should something happen? It's not just an arrangement you have with your family or anything like that, but you got to tell the government, hey, God forbid something happens to me, make sure my uncle gets my fish. This is what government's supposed to be doing? This is big government at its worst. There's a whole lot more to this legislation that many on social media picked up on, including other language within the pet registry system and this whole bureaucratic scheme for owning pets. I just want to go to this one right here. This is from Rob Fairbank. Don't overlook the part of the Colorado pet tax bill that lets the state use the new revenue system to increase debt. Part of this whole scheme is this part right here. I'm going to see if I can get this bigger here. We're going to try to open it as an image outside of the tabs here. And once that gets set up, let's see if we can zoom in on it. We can. This is what Rob highlighted in his tweet. The enterprise, the organization that would be created by the Department of Agriculture, could issue revenue bonds payable from the revenues and other available money of the enterprise pledged to their payment. They can impose these registration fees and also issue bonds. That's debt financing for a pet registry.
Government is the problem.
Rob had this other tweet saying, I hope the Colorado pet tax bill will be amended to allow the pet to use its preferred name in the statewide pet registry rather than its given name, without notifying the pet owner, of course. The absurdity of it all is out there to see. Let's see if we can find some more tweets out there as I scroll through here. Mr. T2 posts, Colorado Democrats don't think they've stolen enough money from Coloradans, so now they're proposing a statewide pet animal tax. No, seriously. Democrats want to tax us for having a dog or cat. It's worse than that. Fish, reptiles, the whole gamut as well. There's some other videos on TikTok that I'm sure you can find about this. Joshua Hostler calling it tyranny. Unreal. It's unreal as we go through this. Look at the kid looking at the fish. Did you know that Democrats at the Gold Dome in Colorado want to pass a bill to tax each of your pets by $25 a year? If you have 10 fish, it's $250. That's what I was talking about earlier. I think you're getting a flavor for what I'm talking about here. The problem with big government is that sooner or later, they run out of things to tax and control. Oh, wait, excuse me. This one wasn't a tax. I know I call it a tax on the screen and all of that, but they call it a fee because it's a choice to own an animal. So therefore, it's not really a tax. Really? It's this sort of mental gymnastics, the agenda gymnastics here, that really gets people mad about big government as well. It's semantics, whether it's a tax or a fee. They're still taking money out of your pocket. But the semantic game aside, is nothing sacred anymore? What happens when your son or daughter comes back with a stray cat, or they were down by the pond and they got a frog and they caught and they want to bring it home to be a pet? Big government does not create solutions for anybody else but for big government. This is just yet another example of the lengths that people will go to in trying to control our everyday lives. Luckily, this instance, it was stopped, but it's coming back around next year, so stay vigilant out there. But listen, this is just my opinion about the whole situation. Let me know what you think about the absurdity of this big government overreach in Colorado. I want to know what your opinions are, and also any jokes you have about this legislation. This is worthy of mocking and derision. Give me some good jokes. It's a doggone shame, in that sort of vein. Any dad joke you have, I'm a big dad joke fan. Let's talk about that in the comments as well. And please, as always, like and share the show with your friends. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Don't miss any other shows. Let's have some fun with this one, mocking the shenanigans and buffoonery going on every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.